All right, Doug Karsch, Scott Anderson, 97.1.
But King, you gonna go with? You gonna make a soup this weekend? You're a super chili guy.
Might do a chili. Also, I don't know if you ever had something like a Brunswick stew. That's really good too.
What's that?
It's basically like if you go to a barbecue, any good barbecue place will have one. It's like the kitchen sink of pulled meats, brisket, pork, whatever, beans, but it's more stew-like than chili. There's no like ground beef or anything like that. Still works well with like some pickled jalapenos, some cheese if you want, sour cream.
I got you.
It's really good. You'll like it. I know you're a big chili guy. You'll like this.
Yeah, I like a stew. A good beef stew that works.
Doug, you don't want any of that?
No, I don't. I'm good. I'm completely good.
Pulled chicken.
Yeah, you can do pulled chicken.
So the white chicken chili is what we make all the time, which you just crock pot. You throw in 4 chicken breasts. You boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You pour salsa over it. And then those great northern white beans, and you cook it for a day. Like you put it on in the morning, and it's ready at night. And you do a buttermilk biscuit.
Shred up the chicken.
It shreds up the chicken. You can mix it up a little bit to do that, but as it cooks, you do that. And buttermilk biscuit, you pour it over the biscuit. You put cheese, sour cream, and a few slices of avocado on top, and there you go.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting inspired though.
What's that?
I'm getting inspired, and I feel the inspiration is going to be zapped the second I walk outside to go to my car.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm thrilled today. I'm thrilled today because I think the commissioner of the Big Ten is a boob, and that is Tony Petitti. But because of his stubborn stance, and I think ridiculous stance, the college football playoff is going to stay at 12 teams. I'm thrilled with that result. What happened here is today was a deadline to change the format. Everybody in college football wants it to be a 16-team playoff. Tony Petitti wants it to be 24. I think what we have happening here is the guy who runs the Big Ten is a former TV executive, and he wants to put together a TV show. He wants to put together a 24-team playoff with more playoff games to get more ratings and perhaps, go figure, line the pockets of everybody involved, including the networks that he used to work with. And everybody else wants 16. For whatever reason, basically, Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner, and Greg Sankey, the SEC, have been granted the right to make all the decisions for people in college football. Which, hey, look, I love that the Big Ten has this kind of power, but I think it's ridiculous that these two commissioners dictate to everybody else what's going on, but even though they are the two most powerful commissioners in college football. I don't want it to expand just yet. I can't stand when we come up with a system and then I swear we react after something goes haywire and try and make a perfect system to address the season we just had. Or we don't even let this thing breathe to see if it's good. I'm enjoying the college football playoff. The problem with expanding the playoff to 24 teams and automatic bids is that 3 and 4 loss teams are going to get into the big dance at the end. I don't know if there's a greater example of weakening a regular season as there is that. I think one of the great problems that college basketball has is that the tournament is so all-encompassing and big at the end of the year, it's really hard to drum up interest, and I don't think people are nearly as interested in regular season college basketball. Now, would they always have that problem? They might. But March Madness is such a monster at the end, people kind of say, wake me when that comes. And I don't want that to happen in college football. There is meaning in regular season games in September, October, and November. I mean, if we're talking about 4 lost teams getting into the playoff, that feels to me like it is simply done, not based on merit, not based on merit at all, based on making more money. Now, it's nothing new in sports, but here's even a bigger problem. The Big Ten wants 4, under Petitti's plan, there'd be 4 guaranteed spots. Do you know how hard it is in a 20-team conference or is it 18? 18-team conference to determine who the 4th best team is when you play less than half of the conference?
Right.
The standings at the end feel like a snapshot in time that should be about halfway through the season. And they just say, okay, season's stopping. I know you didn't play everybody. I know you didn't play any of the teams you're being compared to.
Ooh, I had the solution. In-season tournament. The Big Ten Cup.
Essentially, you are going to have teams that don't play each other with the same conference record. Like being fourth in the Big Ten is less well-defined now than it ever has been. But we want to guarantee spots to the top 4 teams in a very inexact way of measuring them against one another.
Well, I think it's ridiculous that you're asking for a number of guaranteed. That's BS. It's total BS, and that's big conferences trying to manipulate things, and it's not fair. It's just not fair. Do it on merit, but this is the world we live in, I guess, where you just want to run roughshod over everything, and it's not right. The 24-team playoff, it sounds ridiculous right now, and I agree with you. Let it breathe a little bit. Let's get a few seasons of this with 12 under our belts before we see. And maybe you'll determine in a couple of years, okay, the adverse effect that the college football playoff has on the bowl system, the rest of the bowl system, is too much. We do need to include more playoff games and more playoff teams because that'll create more interest and keep players involved and wanting to play. But then the more games you add, then you're adding more games to the schedule. And now you're talking about college kids playing an NFL schedule.
Mm-hmm. And when's the season going to go into?
Because what did Indiana play? 16 games?
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about finishing the season in February. Now, if they're going to move it up, if they're going to eliminate conference championship games, that's fine because conference championship games are useless and almost harmful as much as they help people. But I wanted it to stay at 12 to maintain what I think is one of the best regular season in sports. I was reluctant to even go to 12. I thought 8 was fine. But now that we're at 12, we've just started this thing. We've only done 2 of them. And already they want more. And I'm like, let's just let it breathe here a little bit before we make any rash changes. Because here's what's not going to happen. They're never going to go back. They're never going to say, let's make it smaller. So I'm glad Petiti had this hard line thing. And I just feel like he's trying to create a TV show. And, I'm stunned that one guy can hold it up. But he was adamant. And so I guess I get my way by default. They are going to stay with 12 teams. What Petiti was proposing, he said, okay, I'll agree to 16 if you agree to go to 24 in 3 years or 4 years, which was also weird.
Yeah, how about no guarantees? How about
no guaranteed spots?
No, the guaranteed spots go to conference champions, and then you'll figure out the rest of it because you've got a committee that's supposed to dig into it and come up with those teams. That's how it works. I don't think you should ever guarantee, 4 or 5 teams from a conference because you don't know if year to year how things are going to change. Some years you might have like a few years ago, I'm sure people would have said, "Oh, the ACC should be included in that too," right?
Yeah.
Well, how's the ACC look now?
Well, I don't know. They just put a team in the national championship game, which is making the SEC jealous.
Well, right, but typically you'd think Clemson, Florida State, those are teams that would, here we go. But now that's not the case. They had Miami.
Yeah,
it was worth it.
Well, Miami's pretty good. They got a history.
No, they were good. But I'm saying, but you can't guarantee more. Because you don't know from one year to the next how many teams in the conference are going to be good. Duke was the conference champion.
They played in the conference championship game, right, against Virginia,
and they won it.
But see, this is an example of why you shouldn't guarantee spots.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you know how many teams that finished 6-2 and tied for second place in the Southeastern Conference? SMU, Miami, Pitt, Georgia Tech, and Duke were all 6-2.
In the ACC.
So let's just say that you guaranteed 3 spots to the ACC. Did 5 teams finish tied for second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth? Like that,
They're gonna. It's a dog chasing its tail, I think, is what college football is right now. It's a dog chasing its tail, trying to figure out the best way, and you just can't do it because your conferences are too big.
Mm-hmm.
Your conference championship games really don't mean that much because as you point out, you're excluding teams that probably have every bit of the right to play in that game, and then you have too many haves and too little have-nots, and there's too many teams in the pool.
Now, the championship game had an incredible TV rating. It's the
national championship
most watched college football playoff title game ever. And
what was number one? Do you know?
There's
over 30 million people that tuned in for the Indiana Miami.
I don't know what's number one. 30.1 million viewers, according to ESPN PR. Second most watched college football title game ever. Second best cable telecast ever. And the most viewed non-NFL sporting event since the 2016 World Series Game 7. So
impressive numbers.
Yeah, I mean, so it's still popular, but this doesn't. It feels like a system that we currently have that needs fixing, not to be broken more. And it's staying the same, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, but they want to break it, and the guys are trying to fix it.
248-539-9797. Anyway, Gators got something. Watching the game last night, you came in today and said Detroit needs to do this, but it could have some ramifications. We'll get to that at 11:48 here on 97.1.